covers everything. It's the platysma. You're going to want to remove that platysma muscle. And up here, went a little bit deep, you'll see these two muscles that run right along the edge of the mandible. Those are called the digastrics. So here's a digastric, here's the chewed up part of that digastric. Now under the digastric, there's this muscle that runs across. It's called the mylohyoid. So this is the mylohyoid here. Below the mylohyoid, so I'm just kind of lifting up the mylohyoid, you can see this muscle that's running vertically. That's the geniohyoid. So we have digastric, mylohyoid, geniohyoid. This is the transverse jugular, and then what I did, kind of opened up a little window, went down to the sternum, kind of lifted and cut, and you have these two muscles here. There's one that runs the whole way from the sternum all the way up above the larynx. So right there is the trachea, right there's the larynx, and so it's above it. And so that is the sternohyoid. So the hyoid is above the larynx. And so that's it, so sternohyoid. Here's the other sternohyoid. So we have the left and the right. Now just below that, kind of running together, it runs up, it's right here. You can also see it from the other side. This is the sternothyroid. So it comes up, attaches like to the side of the larynx. And so we have sternohyoid and sternothyroid. Sternohyoid, sternothyroid. Now, running from the larynx up to the hyoid, just to make it exciting, you have this one that's the thyrohyoid. And so while these names sound similar, if you kind of take your time, they tell you right where they start, where their origin is, where their assertion is. So it's sternohyoid, sternothyroid, thyrohyoid, mylohyoid, geniohyoid, digastric. All right. Now, right on the larynx, right here, this little muscle, that's called the cricothyroid. And so it attaches to the cricoid cartilage, allows for changing of the tension on vocal cords. This muscle here that runs from the sternum on up has the jugular vein on it. That's the sternomastoid. So it runs from the sternum to the mastoid process. And then just below it, just deep, right here, but I created a window on the side. So right here, and it kind of got tore, is the Cleidomastoid. It runs from the clavicle to the mastoid. So we have the Sternomastoid, the Cleidomastoid. In humans, these two muscles are fused, so it's called the Sternocleidomastoid. You need to know Sternocleidomastoid in human. As far as action, origin, insertion goes, if I have a pin here, you would say, what is it? It would be the sternomastoid. What's the origin? What's the insertion? It would be the same as sternocleidomastoid. So these two muscles are going to have the same action, origin, insertion. You only need to learn it for human, even though it's separated on cat. Kind of like your trapezius muscles. There's one trapezius, so they all have the same action, origin, insertion as the single human muscle. All right, now that's pretty much it for these muscles there. Now right here on the side is the masseter, big muscle. So in like old Western movies, when people are ticked off at each other, they like to clench their jaw and that muscle pops out. That's the masseter. And then there's one muscle that if you miss on the exam, I'm going to kick you out of class because it's so easy. It's right here at the top of the head. It's actually part of it right there. That's the temporalis. And so if there's a pin sticking straight out of the top of the head, it's temporalis. If someone puts anything but temporalis, that's it. It's the end of the line. Anyway, it's not. But that's it. So we have temporalis, masseter, the two digastrics, and the mylohyoid runs across transversely, geniohyoid, sternohyoid, sternohyoid, thyrohyoid, sternothyroid, thyrohyoid, cricothyroid, sternomastoid, cleidomastoid. That's it.